Okay, let's get started with breaking news. Helicopter Mi-17 has crashed at Naltar Valley in Gilgit during landing. And the terror angle in the incident, in fact, is not being ruled out. As per some reports, Pakistan Taliban has claimed the responsibility for the attack. Ambassadors of Norway and Philippines to Pakistan have been killed in this chopper crash, while the envoys of Poland and Netherlands have been injured in the incident. So there is, in fact, a report coming in that the Pakistan Taliban has now claimed responsibility for this attack. These are unverified claims at the moment, but the chopper crash has led to the death of two of the ambassadors in Pakistan, ambassadors of Norway and Philippines, who have been killed, while the envoys of Poland and Netherlands are reportedly injured in this incident, where this could possibly be a terror angle as well. Was this a chopper crash, or was this in fact aircraft shot down by Pakistan Taliban, as it is claiming, is the big question here. But remember, it's always around April. It's this time of the year when the Taliban tends to launch its spring offensive. The Taliban, reportedly, the Pak Taliban has shot a letter to media houses claiming responsibility for this attack, and also seem to be suggesting that they were really targeting Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, that this, in fact, the aircraft was hit by mistake. This was the other aircraft that was carrying all these ambassadors for a public function to Gilgit. So the Taliban, the Pakistan Taliban, or the TTP as they are known, seem to be suggesting that it was really Mia Nawaz Sharif, the Pakistan Prime Minister, who was their target. Gaurav Savanda, Strategic Affairs Editor, joins us now with more details from the newsroom. Gaurav, first of all, could you tell us more about what the Pakistan Taliban really has claimed through that letter that they have shot to media houses?
Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan has sent out a press release to journalists in Pakistan, where they're claiming Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif was their target. They planned this operation while they were under the impression that he was in one of the three helicopters that they were targeting. Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, in fact, was on a separate aircraft. That aircraft was en route to Gilgit when this incident took place. Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is now on his way back to Islamabad. There were several foreign ambassadors in these three helicopters. The third helicopter was shot down. They used a shoulder-fired surface-to-air missile. That is what the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan is claiming. That they're also saying that this is legitimate target. They were trying to target Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, but the fact that they've killed two foreign ambassadors, spouses of two others, in all 7 people have now been killed. There are 11 others who are injured in this helicopter crash. Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan claims all of them are legitimate targets because their aim is to bring about a change of regime across Pakistan.
But Gaurav, do we know as to where were all these envoys really traveling together in this helicopter? Were they supposed to be joined by Mia Nawaz Sharif as well? You know, if the Pakistani Prime Minister, in fact, is now being targeted possibly for those military operations happening across some parts of Pakistan.
Well, you know, Pakistan Army has undertaken a massive operation in the Northwest Frontier Province, but this is completely a different part of Pakistan. This is the northern areas, illegally occupied, Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. So this is happening in Gilgit. There was a ski lift that was to be inaugurated, a big ski resort was being inaugurated. In fact, Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif was to address a big gathering there, and this was to encourage tourism. This was to encourage tourism development in Gilgit, Baltistan, the entire northern areas belt, and that is why several foreign ambassadors had been invited for this function. But TTP claims that they've shot down a Pakistan Army plane, killing 7 people.
Well, Gaurav, stay with us. In fact, I'm now joined by our correspondent in Islamabad, Hamza Amir. Hamza, has in fact the Pakistan military reacted yet? These claims of the TTP, have they been verified in any sort of a way?
Well, Pakistan Army has actually been sending out press releases, and they have made it clear as per their part that it was a technical error which actually caused the plane to crash down. And initially it was reported it's a crashed landing, but then it was confirmed that it was actually brought down. Yet they are saying that it's a technical problem that actually occurred, and they have not endorsed what the Taliban are saying.
Was this clarification, Hamza, did this clarification come in post, of course, that TTP press release, or was this earlier to the press release?
It was earlier to the press release. In fact, it was a few minutes before the press release came out. ISPR has actually sent out a press release before that, and they've said that it was a technical error in the plane that caused the helicopter to come to actually come down. Also, the diplomats who have actually been killed are what the Philippine and the Norwegian ambassador have been confirmed dead, while the spouses of the ambassador of Poland and also one of the other embassies which are here in Pakistan, their spouses, their wives have been also killed, while some other diplomats who were there have also been injured and they are being treated right now. But the army and also the Foreign Office of Pakistan has said it was an excursion trip as part of a normal routine that goes on in Pakistan for diplomats, and this incident occurred due to a technical error.
Hamza, but also those injured, have they been airlifted back to Islamabad? Also, your Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, as Gaurav seems to suggest, that he was supposed to address a public function here in Gilgit. What was the sequence of events really? When did Mr. Sharif learn about this, and did he sort of return midway, or he had not taken off from Islamabad for this event?
Well, as soon as the incident occurred, as soon as the helicopter actually came down, he was in one of the two other aircraft that were in, following the same path, and he was in mid-air when he actually was brought back to Islamabad. As we speak right now, he's actually landed back in Islamabad, and right now the injured who have been actually recovered are still over there, and they are going to be brought back to Islamabad for treatment as well.
Okay, so that seems to be a pretty dramatic development, that Nawaz Sharif was actually on board one of the three aircrafts and that he had to return mid-air. So he wasn't traveling separately.
No, he wasn't traveling separately. There were three aircrafts that were actually coming. One was carrying diplomats, one was carrying the security and the protocol officers, and one was carrying the premier himself. But so as soon as one aircraft that came down, the other two turned back, and they actually were brought back from mid-air back to Islamabad.
Right, Hamza Amir, stay with us, in fact, getting us those details. Also joining me now from Islamabad is General Jamshed Ayaz, who is a defense expert as well. General Ayaz, there's the ISPR, of course, is saying that this is a technical error, that this seems to be an unfortunate mishap, that the aircraft came down, but you also have the TTP claiming responsibility and saying that they shot down this aircraft. What does it appear to you at the moment?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. See, I have no doubt that this is an accident which just occurred, and it was a bad incident that this happened. But I don't think the Taliban had to do anything with it. They just take the state credit whenever they want. But actually, it's nothing to do with credit. It is just to do with unfortunate incident which took place.
You don't think that Mr. Nawaz Sharif, the Pakistan Prime Minister, was being targeted as is being claimed by the Taliban Pakistan?
Let them say anything. They can say anything, and they can get away with it, because nobody is believing that. They will always be saying things like that. But I don't think that what they've said is true. It's not true at all. And I've been in this job for 25 years, and I know that this is an accident, and it cannot be more than that.
So, but do you think that they do not have that kind of a strategic attack capability to actually do what they are claiming to do? We've seen, of course, yes, TTP try and assassinate, and even assassinate, in fact, several Pakistan's former leaders in the past. So why would you not believe in their claims?
See, whenever there's a thing like this, you come to know whether it's an accident or whether it's a prepared sort of thing. But in this case, it is obviously an accident, which is very unfortunate, and some very important leaders have been killed. But definitely it is not something which they had planned and they got away with it. No, it's not like that. You can take it from me. I can give it to you in writing.
Right.
And I will owe it to you that this is an unfortunate accident.
Well, if it is in fact very, very unfortunate, but thank you so much, General Jamshed Ayaz, for joining us on the phone line. Gaurav, you heard General Jamshed Ayaz as well as Hamza Amir. Both of them seem to be suggesting, even the ISPR is claiming that this is in fact an unfortunate mishap, and they are ruling out the terror angle to this. In that case, is it common then for an organization like the TTP to try and claim, of course, incidents which it might not really have planned?
Well, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan is not known to operate in this area. That is a fact. But there is unrest in this area. That is also a fact. But there are two situations here. Unless there is a proper court of inquiry, they cannot know what happened. There will be a court of inquiry. This helicopter crashed just when it was coming into land. It apparently crashed into an army school building. There were several people there. There were eyewitnesses. So a court of inquiry will reveal what happened. Now, some of these eyewitnesses have been quoted by Reuters as saying that there was a loud explosion. This helicopter then crashed into a building and then it erupted in a ball of flames. So did it happen post? Was there a strike? Was there not a strike? Was there a technical error? Only a board of inquiry will reveal.
Absolutely. We will have, of course, to wait for all that inquiry that takes place. But Hamza, for now, what are the reactions that you've heard from Mr. Nawaz Sharif himself?
Well, condolences actually have started to pour in now. Nawaz Sharif's office and also the Interior Ministry and even the Foreign Ministry has expressed their grief over the loss of lives of ambassadors and their spouses, as they say that it is a tragic incident. And at the same time, we should not forget that that all the terrain, let it be an air route also into Gilgit, is actually surrounded by very mountains which are very close, and the plane is actually it's forced to fly on a low altitude. So if there even is a terror attack, that is something that cannot be ruled out. But when we talk about three planes moving back and forth, not too much of a distance away, then one plane coming down and not followed up by the another one, is certainly that also raises a few concerns. And at the same time, Taliban have also in the past have a history of different factions claiming responsibility for one attack, and ultimately it comes out that one of them was actually responsible, the other one was also making a false claim. So all these things need to be kept in focus. And for now, in Pakistan, there is grief, there is sorrow, because the ambassadors who were carried on that chopper have lost their lives, and people are expressing their condolences.
Clearly, yes, as far as terror groups are concerned, sometimes they do in fact fight for supremacy or try and claim incidents in a bid for publicity. But we will know, of course, the details of this very unfortunate incident only once an inquiry is completed into it. For now, Hamza Amir and Gaurav Sawant, thank you for joining us with the latest on this story, where two ambassadors to Pakistan have lost their lives and several others are reported injured.